to have you here today.
Made me turn it.
We have, every week or every month when we meet, I want to always make it a point to talk about some of the things that the chamber does and benefits to you for being members. Is anybody in here a member?
Of what?
Of the chamber.
Oh, yeah, because if it was locked, we wouldn't.
Anybody not, please stand up and go to the back door so that we can get you as a member. We are very excited for our coffees and conversation today. But like I said before we start, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about one of the great member benefits.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I feel like I'm at the police station under interrogation or something. Never happened before. Anyway, so I lied. No. So one of the benefits for all of you who have not, or any of you that have not been to our chamber office, we have a large lobby area. And in that lobby area, we have rack cards, business cards, big banners. We have all this information for people that are looking for businesses or services. And everything in that lobby is only from chamber members. So we focus and we do this because we want to support our member businesses. Last year, we had over 10,000 people come into our lobby area. And Beverly is our Vanna White of South Padre Island. She is so great. It's hard for her to get any other work done because she's always out there helping our visitors and giving them information and giving them referrals for chamber members. She also answers the phone about 100 times a day. She gets a few crazy questions, and I'd love to share some of those with you, but I will some other time because we've got a long meeting today. But every person that calls in that is asking for a business or a service or something to do, an activity, she refers chamber members with their phone number, their contact information. She sends them to our website where they can find detailed information. We get hundreds of phone calls a week. We get many, many emails from people. We get contacted through our Facebook page. So I just want you to know that we are constantly, some of you I know feel guilty because you're like, I'm never at the chamber, I can't go to the events, I can't do this and that because I'm so busy working. Don't worry, we are working for you, even if you cannot be at all of the events and meetings that we have. We are always working for you. Now I tell you. So, next I would like to introduce Alta Monroe. She is the chairwoman of the Governmental Affairs Committee of the Chamber, and they are the ones that host this coffee and conversation. So, Alta?
Good morning, everybody. What a wonderful crowd. Okay, we're going to start this morning's talk. The judge is going to come up and give us a little talk here, and I have a picture. Judge Eddie Trevino Jr. was born and raised in Brownsville, Texas. He's a local Valley boy. Mr. Trevino's family is from Brownsville and has been active in several businesses in the Howard community. Judge Trevino served as Brownsville City Commissioner from 2001 to 2003 and was elected as Brownsville Mayor in 2003. His term as mayor ran through 2007. Public service has always been a big part of the Trevino family. In 2016, Judge Trevino returned to public service as he was elected county judge for Cameron County. He currently serves as county judge and takes great pride in representing the citizens of Cameron County in all capacities. We'd like to thank Alyssa and Anthony. They are part of his staff. Judge, would you like to talk for a minute?
Did you say
devastating effects and impact of COVID-19, that those who have not yet gotten vaccinated will do so in short order, because 95% of the people that have been hospitalized and have lost their life in the last 6 months have been unvaccinated individuals. In June, when we thought we were making it, we thought we were getting back to normal, we had 1,060 positive cases. July, when the Delta variant started to rear its ugly head, we doubled it to 2,228. In August, we doubled it again to 4,880. And in September, thankfully, it dropped off again by half, 2,751. And for October, so far, we're at 637. So
That's good.
We're rounding the curve. And most importantly, the hospitals, who, if you all know any of the doctors and nurses and healthcare workers and professionals, they have done superhuman work throughout this entire pandemic. And obviously, we're proud of the individuals that take care of us here in the county and in the valley, but that goes across the country and across the world. At the beginning of September, the COVID rate in the hospital was 28.3%. As of today, we're down to 10%.
Awesome.
The importance of that is that, guess what? COVID doesn't care if you have an appendicitis or a heart attack or an accident. And what's happened is those situations or those elective surgeries 6 or 12 months ago may not be so elective anymore. They may be necessary. They may be emergency. And so COVID is creating this rolling effect of impacting everybody's health, even if it's not COVID. Because the resources and the attention, obviously, of our healthcare professionals and our hospitals has been focused on COVID. So continue to do your part. If we have to wear masks for a while longer to deal with this, it's a small price to pay. Vaccine shots are available at all of your physicians and the clinics, including the county. Pfizer is the available booster shot, but if you're keeping up with the news, Moderna's being considered by CDC and Johnson & Johnson. And that's very, very important. I don't know if any of you got Johnson & Johnson, but I did. So we're not in the news, so we've been waiting for that. So some people have decided to get ahead of the curve and go ahead and get the booster. Some got the Moderna shot, right, at the beginning, and they got the Pfizer booster. The professionals say, don't do that. It's your experiment. Now, everybody that's had it, thankfully, they haven't had any major side effects or results, but it's better to play it safe and just wait a little longer until we get that approval and the efficacy approval. I don't know if you've noticed, but we're still in hurricane season.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of water here 2 weeks ago. And for those of you who may have suffered some water damage, TDM, Texas Department of Emergency Management, now is requesting everybody self-report. So if you go to the Cameron County website or our social media pages, there's a QR code. That's the way of the future now. Put your smartphone on, get the QR code, and fill out the information if you suffered any kind of water damage. If we don't get to a certain threshold, we won't be eligible for a state and federal aid. And right now we're trying to get that, especially for those individuals that suffer damage. The infusion center, the Montreal cocktail, for those of you who do know somebody who may test positive, be sure that you get them over there to the infusion center right away. It's been a godsend. It's keeping people out of the hospital.
We also give Montreal visits in our office across the street.
And Doc, you've got testing and you've got vaccines, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's no excuse. We have more than a surplus everywhere, and we want to make sure that those that have not gotten their shots or been tested, there's no excuse. Thank you for reminding me of that. And that's good because the one that we got in Harlingen is being funded by the state. We anticipate it going through the end of the month. If it does go through the end of the month, then the private physicians and clinics that provide that are going to hopefully keep it.
We're completely free.
Yeah, thank you.
Free to anybody, testing and Montreal.
So talking about something that obviously is of use to you all down here, the rental assistance program. We know a lot of people got behind with regards to their monthly rent, and the rental assistance program, our first tranche of money was $12 million. We got another $13 million. We're at $24 million, and the government has told us if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So we know that there's a need and demand out there, but we're having difficulty getting people to respond. And it can be the landlord, it took when I took office several years ago was begin to work on merging the MPOs, the Metropolitan Planning Organizations. The MPOs spend all of our transportation dollars in planning for the future. We had the Brownsville MPO, we had the Arlington San Bernardino MPO, and we had the Hidalgo MPO. So guess what? All three MPOs were basically competing for the same amount of money. The governor's office and the state leaders said, you guys need to become one regional MPO. It'll help us help you. 4 years ago, the FAR TxDOT district was receiving approximately $500 million in TxDOT money. 4 years later, 2.5 of that being as a one merged MPO, we're up to $2 billion. But let's talk about what's most important to those of us here in this room, that second causeway. Here we are 20 years later. 20 years later, after that terrible incident, and we saw the need back then, and yet here we are 20 years still trying to get it done. I want to commend the city of South Padre Island for joining with the county and the RMA, putting skin in the game, putting money, so that we can finish the environmental assessment study and have it ready to go. We're trying to make sure that all of our transportation projects, small and large, are shovel ready so that when money becomes available, we're at the top of the line. So as part of that merger, I served as vice chair for the last 2 years, but starting this month, at our next meeting for the MPO, I will be the chairman for the next 2 years. Our number one priority will be and will continue to remain, and it's also the best regional project available, because in addition to the causeway, we're talking about a brand new state highway from the causeway all the way to Edinburgh.
Thank you.
So the people from Hidalgo will get here in 40 minutes or less. They have any foot. This is as regional a project as we can get. It's going to be beneficial. The holdup at the state level is, well, it was construed or designed initially as a toll project. And that was Governor Teri. And now Governor Amber, we don't support toll projects. We don't care. Call it a toll project, call it, we don't care. We just want to get it funded. So however, whatever it takes, we're trying to get that. And I want to thank, again, the city's outside around the council for joining us and putting up $1 million for this. If there's any other transportation project, we heard about a pothole at the end of the causeway last week. We got addressed. But seriously, if there are any other transportation issues, infrastructure issues, let us know so we can try to help you guys. As you all know, the county has invested over $30 million in our coastal parks for the last several years, and we plan on investing another $30 million over the next several years to the remaining parks and boat ramps. We're also planning a new administration building and a building maintenance warehouse at our park system in East Blanca because Joe Vega asked for it. All right. Let me get to the meat and potatoes. Oh, one more project, one more announcement. Since I have so much free time on my hands, I also serve as chairman of the Texas Border Coalition. The Texas Border Coalition is made up of the cities and counties and municipal governments from Brownsville all the way to El Paso. And as chairman, obviously during these last 20 months, it's been a very, very difficult time. When the pandemic started, I looked all over my desk for the dummy book, How to Deal with a Pandemic Dummy.
Yeah.
I could not find that book anywhere. And I looked and I searched, but one of the problems that we've had that's impacted the island more so probably than anybody has been the inability of our friends from Mexico to have the legal ability to come and travel and that own property here and have been unable to come and see the property. Well, yesterday morning, finally, after much correspondence, cajoling, maybe another word that you might not be appropriate, but you can figure out what it was. They finally announced that they would be reopening our ports of entry to legal residents who have been vaccinated.
Wonderful.
So that's very good news. Now the next step, and we're already reaching out to CTP, is for those individuals that have the legal basis to cross but have not been able to get vaccinated because of the shortage of vaccines in Mexico.
Get it here.
We have no shortage. Okay? We have no shortage here. So we're going to try to figure out if we can work with CTP so that they can come, get vaccinated at our ports of entry, and take care of it that way. Because again, this is long overdue. The rest of the country started reopening up for business over a year ago, and the border, and in particular the island, has been hit hard.
love that.
All right. If each and every one of you had an opportunity
See? Keep giving him
to get something that you wanted your entire life, but you knew you could never afford it. I've had 2 Mustangs, 2 67 coupes. Oops, sorry. Right here?
There, you're fine.
All right.
Perfect.
But I've always wanted a 1968 Shelby Bullet. Well, they only run about $250,000, $300,000. If somebody was to say, I'll buy you that car and you won't have to pay a penny for it, and I'm going to give it to you. You think I'd take it?
Yeah.
It's early, but I'm going to say, hell yeah. This is exactly why this project is so important, transformational. This is a first rendering of what we hope to be the arena project. It's not a final rendering, okay? We hope that once this is approved by the voters on November the 2nd, that we'll have some community output forums for some input to see what's good, what's bad, if there's some changes you all would like to see. But we know that we're visual, so we wanted to have something that we could present as we started this process. The Cameron County Visitor Venue Project, the County Commissioners Court issued a feasibility study, which is still in draft form, but it already indicates that this is a viable project. The venue used for this arena, we want to utilize a multi-purpose entertainment, concerts, sporting events, community events, graduation ceremonies. The area that would be impacted obviously would be all of Cameron County, all of the valley, and northern Mexico. This proposition is on the ballot for November the 2nd. This year is what we call a constitutional year election. There are a few other things going on. I know Port Isabel has a bond election going on, very, very important for this community. I believe it's 42 million. I paid attention last time. I think Los Fresnos ISD also has a bond election. And I think that there may be a city commission race for Los Fresnos. But normally, constitutional elections get little to no attention. But you all know, as responsible and dedicated voters, whether it's for the president or for the dog catcher, we need to go out and vote. So that's why we wanted to make sure that we reached out to the business communities, to the Rotary Club, to the Lions Clubs, to the chambers, to the realtors, everybody we could get out to, and ask for help also from the local municipality, the local cities, their councils and their commissions, and get support for the project. So, early voting starts on Monday, October the 18th, so this coming Monday. The election itself is on November the 2nd. All right. Let me reiterate, this particular venue project will be of no cost to the local taxpayers. You all know that when you put heads in beds, that venue tax is already being charged. And it's going to continue to be charged. Padre Island has already used some of that money for your median project, and you've got other approved projects that the commission wants to take care of, and we're working with them to try to assist them. This arena project will be funded by the visitor tax, which is the hotel motel occupancy and the car rental tax. Obviously, as we move forward, if this were to be approved, oh, by the way, I should have said this at the beginning, this is purely for informational purposes, okay? I'm not here advocating, but if you want to know how I'm going to vote, I'll tell you after I'm done. Increase economic impact to the county, and most importantly, enhance the quality of life in Cameron County. One of the complaints that I've heard for many, many years is, well, we don't have things to do, or we have to go to Hidalgo, we have to do that. I'm tired. Here's an opportunity for us to address that right away. Some of the most frequently asked questions that we receive, obviously, what's a visitor venue tax? And we're calling it visitor venue tax so that those people who may be uninformed about it understand who's paying for it and where it's coming from. Okay? When you and I go to San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, New York, or whatever, look at your bill, even here at the island, look at your bill, that tax is there. But as a visitor, you don't necessarily get any benefit, but the local government utilizes those funds for quality of life enhancement or economic development projects. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. Will this increase my property tax? No, it isn't. No, it will not. This is not a property tax. It will not be added to your property tax bill. Where is the arena to be located? It's close to the intersection of I-69 and Highway 100. Now, we did have conversations with different leadership groups throughout the county, and obviously the island was encouraging that we consider putting it out here. But one of the attractions or distractions putting it out here would be the fact that it would add another hour to everybody's trip. We've seen what happens on the causeway right now just on a regular weekend. And we know that that was going to be a problem. So we figured out, Port Isabel was also, wanting to be considered. But again, the savings in time was not going to be there. This particular location is part of another planned development. Multifamily, residential, commercial, and retail. All of that's going to be taking place at this particular project, at this particular development. Our involvement is only for the arena, okay? Everything else is different. If you all have been to the Hidalgo Arena, in Hidalgo, which was built 23 years ago, you know where it is, right? Kind of out of the boonies. Well, the belief, I'm sure, was if you build it, they will come.
Yes.
Meaning the development. 23 years later, it hasn't happened. If you've been to the AT&T Center where the Spurs play in San Antonio, they built it on the east side. Same exact idea and expectation. Hasn't happened. This is very different because the development is already planned and in the works, and they're already breaking ground. The arena will be an added attraction destination spot for it. And the retail that they want to establish is kind of like a head-stop, open air retail. Now, when you go vote, starting on Monday, the ballot is the Cameron County venue proposal. I believe it's proposal 2, right? But it's only one county proposition, okay? And because the state of Texas wants to make sure that they might put you to sleep while you read the proposition, they include all the language that's absolutely necessary to inform the voter. We wanted to try to get ahead of that and understand, make everybody understand. Number one, this is not an additional venue tax. It's already in existence. We're not adding to it at all. All we're doing is asking for the voters to give us approval to use the venue tax for this particular project. We've done this before. I'm sure many of you have visited our Eagle Amphitheater and the Event Center. We think we're doing a wonderful job out there. It's a beautiful facility. And we're getting ready to open up the Laguna Vista Ecotourism Center here probably in the next 6 weeks or so. Those were the 2 projects that were initially approved by the voters when the venue tax was implemented several years ago. The arena project was not included, so therefore, in order to be able to utilize venue tax dollars going forward, we have to have an approved project. So we've done well. We feel comfortable. Our financial advisors have given us the green light with regards to this. Now, I'll try to anticipate some of the questions. How much is this project going to cost? We anticipated costing approximately about $100 million. Is the venue tax going to pay for it all? No, it's not. It'll pay for about a third of it. The other third is going to be paid for by the turf tax increment reinvestment zone that's already been established between the county and the city of Brownsville where the development is going to take place. So the developer is including a third as part of his development cost. The remaining third, we need to go out and get state and federal grants. We've already started the application process. We feel very, very confident. There's a new, what they call a transformational grant program, up to $50 million. And we feel that this is going to check off all the boxes. And obviously, the more money we get from state and federal grants, then obviously that impacts the venue tax even better. It allows us to be able to work it. So, I believe that's it. I've tried to anticipate some of the questions since I've done this a few times already. And if you've heard it before, tell me I'm doing better. And if you haven't, tell me I did great. So, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you all might have. And you know what? I know you recognize Commissioner Rico from the island and the chief. School board member from Port Isabel. Good luck with the bond issue, Teri, Capistran, Superintendent. Nobody signed in, so I usually don't do that. Because I'm messing up. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. If this were
Can you speak up?
I'm sorry. If this were approved, do you have any sort of a round completion date?
I'm sorry, you said when it's approved, right? The time frame, obviously, this is the first step. We've already started the feasibility study. Like you said, we've got some general ideas. Access and getting to and getting out is something that's going to be really important. We hope that we can start within the next 2 years and be done within the next, anywhere from 3 to 5 years. So I think 2 5 years is a very viable time frame. If we can do it faster and quicker, we want to do it. But I think probably 2 to 5 years is a more reasonable time frame. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, did I hear you correctly that in that, where the arena's gonna be, there could be multi-family, commercial, retail?
The development around.
But has it already been broke ground already?
They're getting ready to. They're clearing ground. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
The sample ballot that you showed, do you have some copies? I'd like one of those.
We cannot provide that. We were going to, but we were told we can't do that because since it's a county proposal, I'm only here for informational purposes.
Okay.
They will.
But
Give me the information about
but
Get it?
go back to the ballot.
Take a picture.
All right.
Okay.
Let her take a picture.
Yeah.
Judge,
This is
All right,
information.
going back to us.
There's your ballot.
Judge Trevino,
Yes, ma'am.
there will be a link to it in the Chamber's Friday newsletter.
They just told me that there will be a link to the proposed ballot on the Chamber's Friday newsletter this Friday.
Yes.
Perfect, because early voting starts on Monday.
So it'll be in the newsletter?
Yes.
Yes, I'll
In the news.
Thank God for this.
Oh, in the news.
Your ballot will be the constitutional amendments. The constitutional amendments will be on the front of your ballot.
Oh, great.
This is the only thing on the back of the ballot. So be sure and flip your ballot over and vote for the amendment.
But that's a very, very important point. Because, thank you, because, I mean, I showed you this terrible, people go in, I didn't see it, and then, thank you for that reminder. Yes, sir.
In the unlikely event that we're unsuccessful obtaining the grant money for that final third, how will that be paid?
We gotta keep looking for it. We have to find that source of revenue or that grant money, otherwise we may not be able to get it done.
So if the project's approved and we're unsuccessful, will the project be scrapped?
Not necessarily scrap, but just delayed.
Okay.
Back up here.
Don't want to talk about anything else? Doc?
Thank you for the shout out to the first responders, those of us that were in the emergency room. I also want to, recognize, our city officials, Randy Smith, Rico. They've helped so much in private and public issues. Even though we're building a hospital with private funds, they were very instrumental in making that happen. So I was hoping that at some point maybe we could talk about other public-private projects. For instance, these monophones. We have a lot of physicians that have monophones. And in addition to the infusion center that we're doing, absolutely we want to participate in whatever way we can. Monophones keep people out of hospitals, out of the ICU. The ICUs are full. So when we have a patient in the ER, we can't even transfer them to the ICU. Our EMS guys can't unload their patients to ERs because the ERs are full. So, getting vaccinated and getting monoclonal antibodies, if you get COVID, even if you've been vaccinated, we have a lot of breakthroughs, but public-private, cooperation, I think, is really important, especially, the model that we did here on the island of the hospital.
Well, like I said, no one in their right mind 21 months ago would have ever thought that we'd be living through a pandemic. And it's been a dramatic change. I want to thank all of the local officials, in particular South by Ground. The county has developed a great working relationship with Mayor McNulty and Commissioner Rigo and the entire council and the leadership out here. The chamber, CDP, you guys really, I think we're working well together. And honestly, when this comes to fruition and becomes a reality, the island is going to be the biggest beneficiary because just like you and I go to San Antonio to see an event and we spend a weekend there, that's exactly what we hope is going to happen when we have events at this arena. Partnership with the island, that we're spending their weekends or additional days here and putting heads in bed. So we're excited about the prospect and the possibilities, making it a regional aspect. Its location makes it 25 minutes from the island, 10 minutes from Brownsville, 10 minutes from Arlington, and 35 minutes from McAllen.
Beautiful.
So it's about as
link to those in the Friday Chamber newsletter.
Oh, and that will also be in the chamber, see, we're so good, the chamber. That will also be in your newsletter if you are a member of the chamber.
That's right.
Proposition number 2 on the state constitutional amendments will allow counties to utilize transportation dollars for the repayment of debt issuance. Right now, we cannot utilize transportation dollars for the payment of debt issuance. Supporting that would allow us, again, no increase or anything, it just allows us to use that money in an additional format, which is to pay down our debt, which would be extremely beneficial for us to utilize those funds and be able to get the other transportation projects done.
What proposition is that?
State constitutional proposal.
Thank you. Okay, we hope we've informed you about all this. I do want to acknowledge 3 of our chamber members, directors that are here. Wendy Knight, wherever Wendy is. Wendy Burkhardt and Conrad Hudson. We appreciate you being with us.
Jackie Dempsey.
We're going to have Teresa Capistran and Cecilia Castillo, her right-hand person, to come up and talk about the
Should
issue
never
for
do
the school
that.
district.
Jackie Dempsey, Joe Vega.
I'm sorry, Jackie. Dempsey.
Joe Vega. Randy Smith.
Okay, good morning. We have some exciting information to present to you today. So, similar to Judge Trevino, we're excited about what we are having on the ballot next week, starting next week. So, while we get started, I do want to introduce again our team. Our CFO is Christy Gonzalez, and 2 of our school board members, Mrs. Cecilia Castillo and Mrs. Elisa Bolinos, who are passing out some brochures. So while we get set up, I also want to give a big shout out to our South Padre Island EMT paramedic who have partnered with the school district since early in the semester. I believe we started January, February, Judge, providing the vaccines throughout the semester and the summer to not only our school district, our students once they were eligible, but to our community. We started off with the community. And so our school district is a great partner with our local communities, all of the United communities. So again, we thank. So a big shout out to you all. Thank you. Okay, so I'm trying to kill some time here. So to give you a little bit of information about our school district and what is on the ballot starting next week. The fall of 2019, we started evaluating our school district and the school district needs and what were the most pressing. The school board, along with administration, went on a field trip and we visited all of the campuses and we evaluated the facilities, indoor, outdoor areas, and we started out with brainstorming and seeing what are the needs and what are possible next steps. And as Judge mentioned, pandemic happened. March 13, 2020, our students went home and did not return for the entire school year and most of the fall. So everything was put on hold and our students started trickling back in January and we finished off the school year. So that was the time that we said, okay, we have to start evaluating what we started back in 2019 and coming back to some type of normalcy for our students. And evaluating our facility needs was one of those items. So over the summer, the administration, along with our school board and our financial advisors, started looking what are the possibilities of improvement and how can we best do this without impacting our community. So at this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Gonzalez to talk about the financial aspect of the next steps.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So our proposition for our fund, we're on one ballot, we have 3 propositions.
Okay.
3 propositions. On August 16, 2020,
So now, what are on each of the propositions? So Proposition A pertains to mostly everything that is in the classroom that directly impacts students. For clarification, all of these propositions will all be campus related. Nothing will go to the district level, to district facilities. Everything will be directly impacting students. So Proposition A, starting at the elementary. Elementary campuses, COVID has taught us if anything, the need for students to be able to go out, to play, to be outdoors, social emotional learning. So we asked the staff, we provided a survey and asked them, what are the most important things at your campus and district-wide? And overwhelmingly, the number one item at our elementary campuses was that of a playground that was ADA compliant. So that is going to be one of the big items through this proposition. Not only that it's ADA compliant, but that it has some type of covering, canopy area, so our students are able to go out during the day and utilize this without, we know how high it can be here throughout the year. Another major need is the need to renovate our restrooms at all of our campuses. So we're looking at renovating all of the restrooms at both Teri and Eureka. Walking trails. We want our students to be able to go out, walk from the building to the playground to the other areas and throughout the campus so that they can have a designated area where they are going to be walking. Throughout this year, even through pandemic, and it's been about a year and a half now, that our district has applied, and we're so happy that we have received 2 major grants through the Texas Workforce Commission called the JET grant, the Jobs in Education and Training. So our first grant that we received was in the amount of $280,000, and that was to start up our health science technology program. 2 years ago, we did not have a health science technology program at the high school, and as you know, the healthcare is critical for our area. So offering classes such as possibilities of phlebotomy, medical billing and coding, early programs that offer a pathway to the certified nursing program, those programs did not exist. So now, through the Jobs in Education and Training, the JAG grant, that was one. And then the other one, I'll talk about in a little bit, have provided these additional funds to purchase the equipment at the high school. We know that we don't want to wait for our students to get to the high school to start offering these programs. So we want to provide updated STEAM classes starting at the elementary level. And this year we have started that through a program called Project Lead the Way. And that is a national program curriculum that is aligned. So we are starting with 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade through junior high and high school. And so all of this would be directly impacting both Teri and Eureka. At our junior high, again, looking at what can we do to get our students to learn, but outside of the 4 walls of the school. So we're looking at a permanent, multi-purpose structure that would be, such as the one in the top right-hand corner, that would be located, if you look at the junior high to the far left, there's plenty of space for that area. This would be able to, our teachers would be able to use this to provide outdoor learning, activities, our band students would be able to go out and perform, our kids could have a dance outside, clubs, organizations, the sky's the limit with a permanent outdoor structure. And again, this is what the teachers said that they wanted. They wanted more outdoor learning space. Again, we see the walking trail connecting the junior high to the high school to all areas of that area to provide a structured walking area. Athletic locker room are in dire need of upgrades. They are not ADA compliant. We need to have the showers, the restrooms to be ADA compliant and upgraded, both for boys and for girls. So girls athletics as well. And again, the second, if you can call it the second top item, is upgrading our science labs, our STEAM classrooms at the campuses. So if any of you have been in the junior high campus, you know that our junior high school is the only school in our district that does not have a stage. And why is that important? Our performances, our awards, our presentations, we have to bring in a little stage that's probably about a foot high, but we do not have a permanent structure at the campus. So we're looking at renovating the practice gym and creating it, turning it into a multi-purpose room similar to Teri and Eureka. Again, this is what the campus leadership and staff said that is desperately needed there. At the high school, we have a beautiful facility, 900 seating auditorium. Some of you may have been to the high school, beautiful, large, and that basically the bones are like that, except without sound system that's not working, lighting, and not only does that impact the auditorium itself, but it also limits our students' participation in one-act play, not just the performance part of it, but the production part, everything that's behind the scenes. And look at this, a 900 seating auditorium. We have partnered over the summer with South Padre, City of South Padre, in hosting the police games. All of these facilities that we're seeing, we are opening our doors to our community. So over the summer, we opened up our gym. We housed numerous, hundreds of police officers. We hosted I think it was the power lift, the basketball games, and there were some field activities that were at the stadium. So imagine what you all could use that auditorium for if it was here in our community. So we talked about the JET grant, which was the health science technology, and that is one of the areas here. The other one this summer, we received a second $290,000 JET grant, and that was for the area of advanced manufacturing. So we have an obligation to ensure that all of our programs that we're offering at our campus are aligned to what's available in our community. And so a year ago, we provided our teachers the opportunity to become NCCR certified. We have been visiting with SpaceX, we have been visiting with the court, and what are all of the opportunities that are available in our community. We have an obligation to ensure that our curriculum is aligned to the needs and that we're preparing our students for a workplace, whether it's for 4-year, 8-year college, 1 year, or certification when they graduate from high school. So with the addition of the second Texas Workforce Commission grant, we received the equipment. But we do not have a state-of-the-art facility that is technically a training facility, so our students are able to go to school, earn their certificate, and be able to continue in college, or at least have a certification that they'll be making a good living for themselves and their families. So another major item would be the creation of a career technical education facility, along with science lab upgrades and backhaul upgrades at both the high school and the junior high. So Proposition A also includes the upgrade, or actually the addition of a tennis court. So today we have our tennis team that has advanced to area, and they're competing in Cal Allen today. But do you know where Portisco High School hosts our tennis meets? In Brownsville. Because we do not have, and that's a shame, because we do not have the facilities that are required by PI-ISD to host our tournaments. So what does that mean? That all of the districts that should be coming to our area are going to Brownsville. They're eating in Brownsville, they're staying in Brownsville, because we do not have the courts that are required to host these tournaments. This would provide our team not only to practice on a daily basis, but to be able to bring and attract visitors to our area. And that is what we want, not only for our district, but for our entire community. Proposition A would also upgrade softball and baseball fields with turf and scoreboard. Now, Proposition B, so,
Proposition B is separated. It's our football structures. So it's our artificial turf for our football field, our scoreboard, additional seating, and also fencing around that area. Okay. So this proposition is on its own because of the seating capacity of it. So the softball and the baseball field are a smaller seating capacity, so those are able to be placed in Proposition A due to the overwhelming seating of the football stadium. That has to be on its own proposition. So that's Proposition B for our football field, scoreboard, additional seating, and fencing.
and now Proposition C, for the amount of $12,500,000 is an enclosed indoor aquatic center. So we are surrounded by, Judge, you weren't the only one that's getting it. We are surrounded by water, and we do not offer swim lessons to our students from starting elementary through high school. We don't have the swim team. So through Proposition C, we would be able to build an enclosed aquatic center for swim lessons, not only for our students, but as you can see, we would also open this aquatic center to our community. So I received a request because I was thinking we'll open it up at night, and not thinking that many people like to wake up very early and say, now, okay, you may need to make sure that you open up in the morning because I'm an early riser. So we can open in the morning or in the evening, both to our community for use, regardless year-round of what the weather is like, if we have an indoor facility. Again, think of if we have this, we're also able to attract, again, other districts to come to our area that may not be familiar with our area, and we know that once you come to our area, you fall in love and continue either returning vacationing or staying here. So we would also have continued lessons from, the goal is to start off at the elementary, second, third grade, continue junior high, and then have a swim team at the high school level. So this would be an opportunity for our students.
So how will we be paying for these? With our INS part of our tax rate. INS side of the tax rate pays for all bonds. And our current tax rate is sufficient to pay for our current debt and any additional debt that we're presenting here today at no tax rate increase. So the tax rate will remain the same as it was last year. Also to mention that our INS tax rate is not subject to recapture. We are a school district that is subject to recapture on our M&O side, but our INS side, whatever we collect for those pennies, we get to keep. So we get to keep it for our facilities and any construction projects that we have. Recapture is basically, we send almost 49% of what we collect on our M&O side back to the state. And that is approximately $19 million. So this is the opportunity to get the pennies on the INS side for all of these facility projects. Continent impact, so basically our average taxable home income, average taxable home is $181,000. If the tax rate remains the same, the only difference in regards to paying taxes is if the appraisal value, the Cameron County Appraisal District increases your values. So the values.
The appraisal district, not the county.
The appraisal district, yes, definitely. The appraisal values, our rates stay the same. The values fluctuate. If they go up, they'll pay more. But if your values stay the same, you're going to pay the same amount of taxes you did this past year. But that's regardless of this. Yes. So for school districts in Cameron County, ISD is the lowest tax rate in the county. From Santa Maria ISD at 1.46, we are at 1.009. $1 and almost 1 cent.
What will it be with?
Yes, so currently it's 1.009, and with the new bonds, it's going to stay at 1.009. It's going to stay the same. Not not only that, but in our entire region, for all the school districts from Laredo all the way to Brownsville, or Brownsville all the way to Laredo, we are still, you can see it very, very tiny, but we are still at the very, very lowest tax rate. The Brooks County ISD is 1.5128. We are still at 1.009 in all our region. And it will remain the same, definitely. If you're age over 65, there is a age exemption that will not increase your taxes, so please go to the county to get that if you haven't received that yet. So apply for it. We can also assist you if you need any assistance getting to the right person to do that. Early voting next week, October 18th through the 29th. Polling places are South Park Island City Hall, Port Isabel City Hall, Port Isabel High School, and the Luna Vista City Hall. Election day, November 2nd, from 7 to 7. Same polling places. We just added one more at El Jardín Elementary. That's closer to Brownsville. We do have some of our taxing entities on that area. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Any questions for us? Does anyone have any questions about the proposition, the tax rate? Any questions, comments?
Years ago, we used the pool at Gary. And the children in the summer had swimming lessons. What's happening to the pool? Is the public even using the pool that we already have?
The pool is run and owned by the city of Port Isabel. So right now they are trying to renovate it to bring it back to work. I guess because of COVID and they hadn't opened it for over a year, they had to do some maintenance in order for it to be usable. And so we do have a partnership with them, and I think the plan is to continue to utilize it when we can, but because of weather conditions, we have a hard time.
One of the questions that I've received over and over is, okay, once we approve this bond election, how long is it going to take for these projects to be built? And of course, the answer is, it depends. First of all, we're going to have to prioritize some of these items, obviously. And right now, there's so much, there's so much delay with construction materials, and hopefully by that time we won't have those kinds of delays. So again, the need to prioritize will be probably the first step. The land.
So we're with the Aquatic Center, working into that. If you go into Carpenterville, go into the stadium, there is some property that is right to the right side. We have some portable buildings. So with that, we have spoken with some architects and engineers, and there's plenty of space that is available in that area. We have taken aerial footage of junior high and high school, and that's how we know that there's plenty of space for the multi-purpose area, for the CTE building. So the land is there already. Yes. So great question. Are we looking at entrance, exit? Absolutely. So we are actually in the process of building a bus barn because we have several fairly new buses, but that are not sheltered right now. And so again, we know that in our area we have to protect everything and not going into rust. So we're working with the engineers and the architects that were designing the bus barn. We also situated that bus barn to ensure that we would not block. There's actually an exit already to the back that's right by the stadium and the bus barn, that we would not be closing off that area. Behind the high school as well. No, we would not. So we would open it. Yes, that's a possibility as well. More flow. Yes. Absolutely, so that is actually something that we have been thinking about and speaking with our architects. Great question. Any other questions?
What I did forget to mention was that the actual sample ballot will state on it, this is a property tax increase. But by law, it's required wording that has to be placed on each proposition. But for informational purposes, we are not gonna have a tax rate increase. No tax rate increase. It's just wording on it that is required by law to have on it.
Because of the appraisal.
Because of the appraisal.
Just one more comment, and I'll tell you how long I'm gonna go afterwards here, for informational purposes. We feel really this is a win-win situation for our students and community. And it's a very unique opportunity because we don't have to increase our taxes. Thank you.
It's a win-win situation for all of our communities because it's a quality of life issue as families look to move here, to build homes, to increase the tax base will help along with it. I mean, when people look at a community, they look at the school system and they want to see these things that we don't have. So it's really important to us.
Exactly. Thank you.
It's important for the students.
Well, but yeah, I know it's important for the students, but it's important for
I
all of us.
also wanted to point out one thing. This summer, we have been working already on renovation of restrooms at the junior high, at the high school. Ms. Capistran pointed out also the new bus barn that we're working on. So there is a lot of maintenance that has already we've been working on. These are just bigger projects that we want for our children and for our community.
And I agree with your comment. Thank you so much. It's for our community. And again, every project that you saw, I want you to know that the school district is partnering with all of you, with the businesses and the communities. And we've done it before. Our pandemic really allowed us to forge our partnership and strengthen it to address the immediate need. And that is what we're here. We're vested to do what's best for our students, so what's best for our community. One thing that I also failed to mention is that in the past year and a half, we have added 9 elective courses. Originally, we had 5 career pathways that were course offerings for our students. We are now at 15. So again, when we're offering more to our students, we're strengthening our community because once we graduate our students, we want them to be ready to go to college and or ready with a certificate in their hands that they're able to go and get a job in our area. We want to retain our students, but the way that we're going to do it is by offering better programs and better entertainment for our family. So if anyone has any other questions, if not, we'll be here tonight. Thank you so much for this conversation.